we're looking at the subject, who do you say I am? And this is important because how you identify God determines your interaction with Him. So even as we are speaking on that, the point is really how you identify God determines how you interact with Him, how it is you perceive and receive the expression of God toward you. Now, let's actually read from Matthew, not Luke, Matthew chapter 16. Matthew chapter 16. So the background is Jesus is ascertaining whether people have gotten what his message is truly about, what he has come to represent on the earth. Because just like Jesus, you see, God has a purpose for every person that comes into this world. There is a reason why God has planted you at this very moment, in this very place. God has foreknown you and God has predestined you. That means He has set your destiny. And your destiny, like we see in Romans 8:29, is to express the presence and the glory of God in everything that concerns you. Now, the one that introduces that to us is Jesus. He comes, and this is what He mentions. Let's read it from verse 13. Matthew 16, reading from verse 13. He says, when Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, He asked His disciples, saying, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they say, some say that you are John the Baptist, some Elijah, others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He said unto them, but who say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it unto you, but my Father which is in heaven. Now, why will Jesus ask that to begin with? He asks that because He wants to see whether as people around Him, they have connected with the why of His life. Because like I mentioned, there is a why for every person's life. So Jesus comes into this world as an expression of the will of the Father to reveal something about the Father, not just to show Himself as the Son of God, because Jesus now isn't the only Son of God. Jesus is the firstborn among many brethren. So in looking at them, He's asking them, have you gotten the why of my being with you? Who do men say that I am? How are they receiving my message? How is it they are receiving my life and what I am doing amongst them? So He turns to Peter. Peter is answering and he says, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. So when He says you are the Christ, really, He is saying you are the expression of the presence and the will of God. And so Jesus looks at Peter and He tells him that this has not come to you through just your physical contact with me. This has not just come to you because you have mentally comprehended my message. He says this has been revealed to you by my Father. In other words, because I have expressed the heart of the Father, because I have expressed the presence of God in your midst, that is what you have contacted, and that is what informs your understanding. Now, the truth is, God wants us to realize that our knowledge of Him is not just based on a mental comprehension of a message we hear, but a heart contact with the essence of who He is. Now, briefly, let's go to Acts 17. Acts 17, and just see something. The book of Acts 17, we're just going to look at something that from verse 24. Acts 17 from verse 24. So notice the knowledge of God and the realization of the purpose of the person of Jesus or His message It's not something you get just because you've been with him, because some had been with him, he had visited some of them, but they didn't know who he was. They didn't know the why of his life. They hadn't contacted the substance of what he was communicating. Now, briefly, look at Acts 17, we're reading it from verse 24. It says, God that made the world and all things in it, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwells not in temples made with hands, neither is worshipped with men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he gives to all life and breath and all things, and has made of one blood all nations of men. And that is so important. It says he has made of one blood all nations of men. So when we separate ourselves amongst ourselves based on race, based on class, based on environments and situations we're encountering, really we are not looking at ourselves based on reality, but probably our bringing, what others have told us. If you ever feel inferior or superior to anyone, I want you to see that that is not a reality. That is just a human, that is something we have made ourselves. That is what we have accepted. That is what that's how you've been trained as a person. If you feel inferior or superior, this is not how God made you. Because he says, of one blood he has made all nations of men. So God wants you to see yourself like he made you, his workmanship, and an expression of his will. Let's just go a bit further. So he mentions, and has determined times before appointed, and the bounds of their habitation. So where you are is not a mistake, regardless of how you may feel about it. Verse 27, that they should seek the Lord. Notice that, in happily or in hope that they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. So notice, God is not far from every one of us. So why Jesus comes into this world is to reveal the ever-present presence of God that each of us can contact, and God, because God wants to find expression through you. God has made you because he wants through your life to manifest the fruit of his presence. And so why Jesus comes is to reveal that really God is not far from any of us. We may have a sense of separation. We remember the story about Adam in the garden, and that how he eats this fruit in disobedience, and he loses his consciousness of God. And so since then, man has been living with a sense of separation from God. The prophet emphasizes in the book of Isaiah that it is your sin that has separated you from God. Now notice, it is not God from you, because God has never left any of us. He is not far from any of us. Notice that it says, though he be not far from every one of us. Notice verse 28, for in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. So when Jesus asks, who do you say that I am? He wants us to recognize that he is an example of the expression of the presence and the will of God, and that is what each of us was made to be. That is who you are. That is what you are created for, to express the presence of God and to manifest the will of God for your life. Amen. Now let's go a bit further. Okay, so let me say this, because we want to see something, the book of John 1. Okay, now Jesus is fully man and he is fully God. Now, what does that mean? Many times when we look at ourselves and when we look at life, we feel like there is the spiritual and then there is the physical, and we feel, probably because of our understanding, that these are separate things. Really, the spirit is just what is outwardly expressed as the physical. The physical and the spiritual are one thing. Are we together? The physical and the spiritual are one thing. Only that one is inward, another is outward. Just like we have water here, okay? This is what, if we add energy or if we apply heat to it, turns to vapor. And if we reduce the rate of molecular movement, if we freeze it, it becomes solid. So it is the same substance that manifests a different vibration. And so is who you are. You are a spirit having a physical experience on the earth. And so when we look at Jesus, he is the expression of God physically. Now, notice what he mentions from the book of John chapter 1 and verse 10. Now, something God wants us to see is that whenever we are looking at Jesus, really, we are looking at the prototype of who you are. When we see Jesus, we are not just meant to stand in admiration and feel like, wow, Jesus is something we can never be. We will only aspire and maybe we can only be a little of what he is. But truly, God that made everyone, he has reconciled us to himself through the person and the ministry of Jesus, so that we can all know the full expression of God in our lives. Now, notice something. John 1, I'm reading from verse 10. He says, he was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He's talking about God in Jesus. Verse 11. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he the power, the ability to become sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. In other words, when you receive this message of Jesus, the fact that God is not far from every one of us, and that his presence can become the life you know. In other words, the life we are living is really the presence of God. When you say you have accepted Christ as your Lord, it means now you are aware of God as your life. You're not living with a sense of separation. You're not going through this world wondering what you are about or what your life is about. You have realized that because God is the life you are living, then his perfect will, whatever purpose, whatever reason there is for your being, will be manifested. So he says to them who believe him, he gave them the power to become sons of God, or to live the life of sons. Verse 13. He says, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. So your life now is not just a product of a decision that human beings made. No, you're here as an expression of the will of God. Your existence is the will of God. It is not a mistake. It is not an accident. So, notice verse 14. He says, and the word was made flesh, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. So when he says, and the word was made flesh, it means that Jesus lived in the realization of his oneness with God. There was no sense of separation. And that is why we see reality. That is why we see truth and grace manifested in his life. Now, as a person, as you begin to acknowledge the ever-present presence of God in your life, the same grace and the same truth will be manifested. In other words, we will know God not just through mental comprehension or mental apprehension. No, your knowledge of God will be from an experience you have from your awareness of the ever-present presence of God. I want you to know that knowing God is just like, we could liken it to how you know. How you know the taste of a banana or a mango. Do you know? If you attended lecture or you attended a class and I said, today I'm going to teach you about how a mango tastes like. And then I started scribbling. First, number one, a mango is sweet. Then number two, a mango is juicy. A mango number 3 is delicious. Do you know, if you've never eaten a mango, you could leave class and say, I know how a mango tastes like, and probably you meet someone else who's never eaten a mango, and then you can give them the description you had in class. That description is not the taste of a mango. And just because you can describe something doesn't mean you know it. And that's how it is with our knowledge of God. Jesus came to bring us to a place where we know God because we have tasted God. That is why the psalmist declares, taste and see that the Lord is good. So how do you taste God? You taste God through his presence. You know God not just because you have read his word, because the word of God actually is not just black ink on white paper. No, no, no. The word of God is spirit and life that has been expressed in a way that you can contact. So when we read the Bible, and you see, that is why your knowledge of God cannot end with the fact that probably you have or you've read the Bible. Because the word of God, Jesus mentioned something, John 6:63. He says, the words that I speak to you, they are spirit and they are life. And so, the only way you know the word is not because you've memorized it or you have quotes of it in your mind, but because you have contacted the spirit and the life. Because the word of God is spirit and life. And this is something you know not through your mind. Of course, your mind will be affected by that knowledge, but it is a knowledge you have through an awareness of the ever-present presence of God. And so he says, the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And that is the same word each of us can experience and can express in our lives. Because God is not far from any of us. The knowledge of God is not something that is complicated. No, 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 no. It is something each of us can attain to as we realize the ever-present presence of God. The fact that God is not far from every one of us. Do you know, as long as you feel like God is distant, your heart will not be open to experience his love. Because if you think God is distant or God is disappointed with you in any way, your heart is closed to the flow of who he is inside of you. And so Jesus comes and reveals that love that is unending. He is a revelation of the love of God, the love of God that is, you see, how God sees you is really through, and how God associates with you is the fact that he accepts you unconditionally and he loves you unconditionally. But if you're not aware of this, because it's one thing to know that in your head, either because you read it or you heard it, it's another thing to experience that in your heart. And the true knowledge of God begins with your heart. It begins with an awakening, an awareness within you. That is why he mentions in the book of Ephesians, he says, awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead. Really, when he says rise from the dead, he's calling you from a place where you are unconscious of God. He says, and rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. He's saying the presence of God will begin to operate in your life. Why? Because now you are conscious. Now you are awake. Do you know, it would be useless for any person to walk into your room 3 a.m. in the morning, okay, when you're dead asleep, okay, and to give very important instructions for your life. Why? Because you are not aware, and so you do not benefit from what you are not aware about. And that's how it is with God. Many times, it looks like God is inactive in your life as a person. And it's not because he is absent, it's because you are unconscious of him. You are unconscious of him probably because you have thought or you have felt he is far away. And so Jesus, as the word of God made flesh, comes to reveal that the love of God is not far from you. The transformation you desire is only possible as you open your heart to an awareness of his presence, an experience of his love that transforms you and allows you to express his perfect will for your life. Now, let's go a bit further. So, we've read from John chapter 1. Let's also read from Colossians 2:8 and then we'll go on. Jesus mentions, he says, I of myself am nothing. It is the Father that dwells in me that does the work. So Jesus himself, when we look at his life, he wasn't what he was just because he was born a Jew or because he was born from a certain lineage. No, he says, what I am, what you see about my life is really the Father at work in me. And he says, I am the vine, you are the branches. So if there's going to be a difference in your life, just like there is no branch or there is no vine that can prune itself, then you must realize that the Father is the doer in your life. So he says it is God that is at work in you, both to will and to do of his good pleasure. So you can come to a place where you are not frustrated with yourself, where the greatest thing you have known to do is to become aware of the presence and to live your your life under the influence of that presence of God. When we talk about faith and that, those that come to God must believe that He is and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. That means that your faith is an awareness of the working of God's presence in you. And so that is what brings about a completion, what we call salvation or redemption or transformation in your life. Okay, so let's begin to wind up with this for today. Let's turn to the book of Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10. So there is what God is doing in your life now. Okay? Now, many times we feel like or we relate with God as though He is a tool. In other words, there is what is happening in my life that I don't want, and I know the only way to change is with God. And so we don't see God as an end, we see God as a means. Now, Paul reveals that he had lived his life in a similar manner, and then he comes to a place where he says, everything I have ever done or been, he says, I count it but loss for the excellency of Christ Jesus, my Lord. In other words, the highest attainment is to know the presence, is to know this life and the working of this life, and to have this life manifests itself. So God is not in your life just to end discomfort. And sometimes there can be a frustration about walking with God and knowing God, because we feel like, yes, God is present, but why are things not changing? It's because if your focus is on things changing, then you have not truly connected with why God is in your life. Of course, things will change, but if that is your focus, you will be frustrated, because God is in your life not to change your situation, but to manifest His will. And well, you may ask, what is the difference? There is a difference. The difference is what your attention is on. Now, just briefly before we read from Hebrews, like I mentioned, the book of Isaiah mentions something. He begins by saying, this should be Isaiah 43. Probably someone can look for it. From Isaiah 43, maybe from verse 18, he says, remember not the former things, neither consider the things of old. He says, behold, I do a new thing. Now it spring forth, shall you not know it? In other words, God only works in the now of your life. Now, God is working in the now of your life, not to deal with your past. Because sometimes we feel like I need my past to be dealt with, or I need my future to be dealt with by God. No, he's saying that he says, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, shall you not know it? In other words, God wants your attention to be in the present. And when your attention is in the present or on His presence that is present, then God can begin to transform whatever is out of order. Notice what He goes on to say. He says, I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So where this wilderness, where is this desert coming from? These are things that have come as a result of a sense of separation from God, as a result of the human interference, the will of man going his own way. So if God is going to be able to transform any of that, we must first take our attention from what needs to change to who God is and what God is doing now, because that is what will affect every other thing about your life. So notice Hebrews 10, we're reading from verse 21. We're asking, okay, so what is Jesus, or what is the Christ doing presently in our lives? Hebrews 10, I'm reading from verse 21. It says, and having a high priest over the house of God, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for He is faithful that promised. Now notice, he is talking about Jesus as a high priest. Now this is to mean that each of us now have access. Because what He is for you. What the presence of God is, it is to accomplish the will of God in your life. And He says, you can draw near with, He says, a heart full of, He says, with a true heart in full assurance of faith. In other words, you are not separated from God, and there is no longer a struggle between you and God. Jesus, through his ministry, if we can accept what it is Jesus has done, then each of us can know direct contact with the presence and can experience that transformation that comes from knowing God, not just through a third party or a second party, but through direct contact with God. 1 John 2 and verse 1 says this, "My little children, these things write I unto you, that you sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous." So again, there is an intervention of Christ in our lives, because you see, God is not looking to find fault with you. God is looking first for you to accept. If things are a certain way in your life, don't try hide, okay? Now, even when you are hiding, because sometimes we can hide, and what is it to hide from God? It is to close your heart. It's not that God doesn't see where you are. Just like when Adam had eaten the fruit, Scripture mentions that the presence of God is calling out to him in the garden. And God is asking, where are you? It's not that God couldn't see. It's because now Adam, through his shame, had closed his heart to God. Now, no matter how much God loves you, he will not force himself into your life. He will not force his works on you. And so you have to open your heart, because you could be in hiding because either you are ashamed or you are afraid or you are in doubt. And so God wants you to see that he is not the accuser in your life. He is not accusing you. It is through Christ he has reconciled us to himself. Through his presence he reconciles you to show you that he is no longer holding anything against you. He wants you to be open. Remember, he mentioned in the book of Proverbs 23:26, "My son, give me your heart." And as long as your heart is closed, there will be things that need to be done in your life, but God will not impose himself on you. So if you're feeling like God is disappointed, he is not. If you're feeling like you are too far off, you are not. God wants you to open up your heart, because only then can he work in your life. So he says, "My son, give me your heart and let your eyes observe my way." So he says, we have an advocate with the Father. We have an advocate with the Father. So the Father is not accusing us. The Father is calling us to experience his unconditional acceptance and to allow his presence to work within each of us. So let's end with this for today. Hebrews chapter 4. Hebrews chapter 4, reading verse 16. Okay? Hebrews 4 and verse 16. Now, this is for each of us. Notice what it says. "Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace." Okay? Now, this throne of grace is not anywhere outside yourself that you're looking for it. Remember, we read in Acts 17. It says God is not far from any of us. The knowledge of God begins by acknowledging of his ever-present presence. Because you see, God is not anywhere outside of us. Okay? God, and you see, it's not something you are trying to comprehend intellectually or mentally only. No, you will experience the working of God when you begin to recognize his ever-present presence. Remember, he mentions in Revelation, he says, "I'm standing at the door of your heart and I'm knocking." Now, this is not just, a call to those that may not have accepted Christ. He's talking about how it is God works within each of our lives. He mentioned in verse 20, "I stand at the door of your heart and I knock." Now, if you know anything about the tabernacle, that is a representation of where God used to dwell. Now, he doesn't dwell in any building. He dwells in you because he made you and he made your body to find expression through you on the earth. You know that if you looked at that tabernacle, they tell us Moses built a tent in the wilderness. Solomon built a temple in his capital. Now, how it was built is that it had three different sectors. There was the outside, or what people call the outer court. There was the inside, where there were candles, where there was bread presented. It was called the inner, or the holy place. And then there was the innermost or center place called the holiest of all, or the Holy of Holies. Now, that is where the presence of God resided. Now, when he says, I'm standing at the door of your heart and I'm knocking, I want you to know God doesn't knock from outside you, because God is not outside. Really, God is knocking so that He will find through your heart expression into every other part of your life. In other words, the only way God will fill you is as you begin to recognize the fact that His presence works from the center of your being. God works from the inside. So He is knocking not because He is outside, because we can't seek God anywhere outside. He says He is not far from any of us. In Him we live and move and have our being. So when He says, let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, He's talking about a recognition of that ever-present presence, and that is where your help comes from. The psalmist declared, I lift my eyes to the hills, from where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, from the ever-present presence. So he says, let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy. Notice that. And so when you're experiencing mercy, you're experiencing a cleansing and a separation of everything that is not God in your life. He mentions Matthew 15:13. He says, every plant that my Father has not planted will be uprooted. So that is the mercy of God. When He is uprooting everything He did not plant, everything He did not make you, anything that He did not put in you. He says, so that we may have mercy. Notice that. He says, let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. So really, for every need there could be in your life, God answers through His grace. And this grace, again, is not just something you accept mentally. It is something you make contact with in your heart because of your awareness of the ever-present presence. So He says that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. So this grace is something that is available to each of us. And it can stop being theoretical. It can stop being something abstract that we don't know what it is. And you can only know it, not because you've heard from someone else, but because you have become aware and you're making contact. In other words, you can know beyond what you can explain. To you, it is real. To you, it is real. Just like if I ask any of you here to stand and to tell us how a mango tastes like. Now, most, if not all of us here have eaten a mango, but you know, to describe how it tastes is very difficult, meaning you can know beyond what you can explain. Yes, so with the grace of God, as your heart is open and as you live in the recognition that the present is ever present, or rather the presence of God is ever present, your heart can contact strength and wisdom and joy and peace that affects how you live your life and manifests the perfect will of God for you and makes you a blessing to others. Amen. Just stand on your feet.